Thursday, second hour of our show. We like to provide some time of thought and healing for our listeners as well, right? We have a very, very relevant segment for that. It is time for 마음톡톡.
오정아의 마음톡톡.
네, Mind Talk with our special guest every Thursday, our in-house therapist, 오정아 원장님. 안녕하세요.
Hi everyone. 안녕하세요. This is 오정아 from Chicago Therapeutic Center, Chicago 심신치유 센터.
네, 반갑습니다.
Thank you.
원장님, how are you?
I'm doing fine with this, really hot season.
Yeah.
But I'm surviving.
Yeah, I feel like, and then we talked about this on our show, the hotter it is, like the more like 짜증 people tend to
That's true.
show and portray. So I feel like, this is a very important time, just to kind of time to reflect back on like how we're thinking, how we're living, especially in this heat, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, what do you have for our listeners today then?
We take many tasks at work and they can have an impact on us physically, mentally, and psychologically. So I like to focus on that. Now let's listen to today's story.
I work as a full-time office worker. I'm physically and mentally exhausted all the time from my busy work, with no energy left for a social life or even hobbies. I fear that if I don't address this soon, it may lead to irreversible consequences. I want to continue what I do now, but I need advice on finding a balance between my work and taking care of myself. Your insights would be deeply appreciated. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, your insights, 원장님, will be deeply appreciated by this person. 네, we'd appreciate it as well.
All right. Let's refer to this writer as David. It seems like you are struggling with the work overload. I'm sure many office workers feel the same as you. So, Minsu,
네.
when was the most recent time that you felt physically and mentally exhausted?
Where do I start? No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not complaining or anything, but I feel I'm more exhausted these days, but it has to do with the weather too, I think. I'm just so out of energy. And like the more roles I've taken here at BFM, it's more work, but still fun. But I do feel it draining a little bit. Yeah. So,
Okay.
지금요. In a good way. In a good way, of course. 네.
How about you, Laura?
I think the question you should ask me is when do you not feel physically and mentally exhausted? Because I kind of always feel physically and mentally exhausted.
see.
But again, and like I'm happy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm super happy, but I'm exhausted. So I've had this year specifically, I've been really working hard to create more space in my life for things that are most important to me. Because I have a baby who's under 1 year old. So of course, I'm exhausted. But that's okay, that's to be accepted. And it's one of those things, yes, I'm tired, but I accept that I'm tired. So,
Yeah.
it's I would rather be this way than not have the life that I have.
Yeah. I guess for like, speaking for Laura and myself, I guess it's not like tired, but we're going to sleep a bit easier these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're so tired at the end of
Because
the
we're
day.
so tired. Exactly. I go to sleep and I'm just like, I
맞아요.
go hit the pillow. But I think we're not in David's situation.
Right.
I think we're very happy with our lives and
Right.
have nice social lives and stuff, right?
All right. Thank you for sharing. It seems like Dave is experiencing burnout, 신체적 또는 정신적인 극도의 피로감을 얘기를 합니다.
네.
Back in the 1970s, a psychologist named Howard Freudenberger came up with the idea of burnout. It's when we feel emotionally drained, mentally worn out, and physically exhausted because we have been dealing with too much stress for a long time.
Can you imagine like in the 70s when like there was no concept of work-life balance?
Yeah.
especially here in
Especially
Korea.
Right.
Right? Oh, I'm sure burnout was rampant.
Yeah.
Right.
네.
So in 2020, 중앙일보 and Team Blind conducted a survey among the 72,000 office workers from 9,300 different companies in Korea. And it was found that 7 out of 10 people experience burnout. It means a lot of Korean office workers are feeling really overwhelmed and exhausted from their jobs.
Yeah.
What are the telltale signs of burnout? Like, how do we know if David is experiencing burnout?
Right. So here are some questions for David to consider to determine whether he is experiencing burnout. One, do I feel constantly drained both physically and mentally, regardless of how much rest I get? 얼마나 휴식을 취하든 지속적으로 신체적, 감정적 기운이 빠지는가?
Check.
Two, have I become cynical or critical at work? 직장에서 냉소적이거나 비판적으로 되고 있는가? Three,
Big check.
have I noticed changes in my sleep patterns or physical symptoms such as unexplained headaches, stomach or bowel problems? 최근에 수면 패턴의 변화나 이유 없는 두통, 복통, 장애 문제와 같은 신체적 증상들이 있는가? Four, have I become less effective in my work duties? 직무 수행 능력이 떨어지고 있는가? So by asking yourself these questions, you can reflect on a deeper understanding of your feelings and circumstances related to burnout. So,
Yeah.
So now I'd like to ask everyone, did you know that there are stages of burnout?
Stages of burnout.
Burnout. I didn't know there were stages of burnout.
Yeah.
I felt this towards the beginning of the year this year. I felt very overwhelmed and everything was too much. It was like a really stressful time. Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought of burnout as a thing you just like you feel it creeping up. 이렇게 슬슬 오다가 이렇게 갑자기 like I'm burned out. Right? I thought it was something like that. But 그 슬슬 오는 게 those must be the stages that you're talking about.
Right, that's
Right?
true. So there are 5 stages. Let's break them down.
네.
The first stage is the honeymoon phase. In the beginning, you feel excited and optimistic about your work or task. You're full of energy, creatively, and everything seems great. The second stage is the onset of stress phase. So after a while, the excitement starts to fade and so stress begins to show up more often. And you might feel a bit more overwhelmed and notice some physical and mental signs like trouble focusing or feeling tired.
Okay. So pretty much like everybody starts off on the honeymoon phase.
I think this sounds like everybody so far. I think everybody who's listening or watching us is going to say, that's me.
Exactly. We have 인류의 충조선님 on our YouTube saying, that sounds like me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's next?
So the third stage is the chronic stress phase. As time goes on, the stress becomes more persistent. It starts affecting your work regularly. You might feel apathetic, miss deadlines, or even get angry with your coworkers. It can also impact on your personal life and relationships.
That sounds pretty serious already, but that's only
Right.
stage 3.
That's how I feel.
Right. The fourth stage is
문제잖아요,
the
그러면.
The fourth stage is the burnout phase. Work problems overwhelm your mind, making it hard to cope. You feel numb, doubt yourself, and have physical issues like headaches and stomach problems. It also affects your behavior and interactions with others.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's the fourth stage, the
Right.
burnout phase. If you're in this, then you are experiencing burnout.
Yeah, you're really, I
Right.
mean, that's pretty far. But there's 5 stages.
Yeah.
The fifth stage is the habitual burnout phase. If burnout isn't addressed, it becomes a part of your daily life. It can lead to anxiety or depression, and you might feel mentally and physically exhausted all the time. This can even put your job at risk if it continues.
I mean, hearing your explanation of the stages of burnout and then going back to David's situation, because David does say, I'm physically and mentally exhausted all the time from his work.
Right.
So can we diagnose him as being in the fourth stage?
Yeah, I think he's between 3 and 4 stages. So if you reach the chronic stress or burnout phase, counseling or therapy might be helpful to alleviate the situation. So Laura, what do you do release work-related stress or to prevent burnout?
What I do is, so this is a technique that doesn't work for everybody, but I will use some mindfulness.
Okay.
And I will just say, you just got to drop the stress because life is too short. And recently around me, actually, this is pretty heavy and pretty dark, so I apologize in advance, but there's been a lot of people who have passed away recently. And it's just like life is too short. Life is too short to be worrying about these small things. You got to look at how amazing life is. So that's one way, is just like mind training, mind control. But another way is spending time with people that I love, spending time alone, and exercise. Exercise is so
really
important. And sleep well, eat well.
Yeah.
Poop well, as Dr. Liu would say.
맞아요.
But sleep well, eat well, and drink a lot of water as well. That's really important. How about you?
Okay.
Vincent?
Me, I go in my car and I put on some Nordic death metal and I scream my heart out.
Like Bud Shrew?
I know, but music is actually a stress reliever. It helps me kind of release that stress and anxiety that I felt in the day. That's why this might sound weird, but the time I finish work and before I arrive home, that car ride, usually by myself, is nice.
That time alone to just do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
But 저는 이거 억지로 이 시간을 가지려고 하는 것 같아요. Right? So I'm very mindful when I get in the car. All right, the day's over finally. Like maybe listen to a song or two that I like before I arrive home, because when I get home now, I have to take care of my family, spend time with my daughter and everything. I do enjoy it, but that also takes away my energy.
Yeah. But you need that recharging time, right?
Yeah.
And especially as we talk for 2 hours and we're just like blah, 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 blah. We need time to not talk as well. It's nice to not talk for a while. 원장님, how about you?
Yeah.
For me, mindfulness practice is really helpful as well for me. And also, I do, drawings.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Drawings.
Is so we will experience next time.
Yeah, we have that coming up in coming weeks. But yeah, I'm always curious. What do therapists do to unwind and relax?
My friend who's a
Right.
therapist, she has 2 therapists.
Oh,
Yeah. A therapist for her therapy,
yeah.
and then she has a therapist for her own stuff.
맞아요. Yeah, because I'm always curious. I always ask doctors, who takes care of you when you're sick, right? Because I'm so curious.
Doctors are the worst patients.
맞아요. Okay. Then 원장님, let's go back to David then.
Sure.
Is there anything that David can do or try to get out of the situation?
Sure. So when you are feeling burnt out, don't be afraid to talk to your colleagues and the supervisor. Your colleagues may be going through the same thing, and your supervisor may help you to release your stress, such as reducing your workload or giving you some break time. So remember that it's okay to ask for help and talk about what you are going through.
네. I'm so thankful here at BFM. We have people that we could go and talk to and actually be honest and say we're tired. And our producers and the higher ups very understanding. Yeah, and give time when needed. But then you come back and you find out your position was filled. But you could totally go. No, I'm just kidding. That never happens here.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Don't give people a bad reputation.
그런데 말하는 게 중요하죠.
중요합니다.
피곤하다고, right?
네.
What else should David do?
So when it comes to tough time like feeling overwhelmed and burnout, people easily practice self-criticism and negative self-talk, such as 왜 이런 바보 같은 실수를 계속 하는 거지? 나는 왜 너무 멍청해? 난 너무 약하고 능력이 없어서 해내지 못할 거야. 이런 말들이죠. It's important to be nice to yourself and treat yourself with the kindness. Try to be as understanding and caring towards yourself as you would be to a friend who's having a difficult time. Additionally, you should be your own best friend and give yourself love and support when you need it.
It's so hard when you feel down though and you hate
맞아요.
yourself.
Right.
근데 필요한 것 같아요. 넌 소중해, 민수야. 너무 잘했어.
근데 기분 안 좋을 때 그렇게 할 수 없죠.
힘들죠. 어렵죠.
힘들어.
그렇게 하기엔.
It's really hard.
Yeah. But
Right.
it is important to put in the effort to try.
Yeah.
Right?
Anything else?
Even if you are busy at work, take some time to be outside in nature after lunch. Being in nature is really calming and can make you feel more relaxed and refreshed. Or take a short coffee or tea break. Also, try out fun and creative activities like painting, writing, playing music, and so on. So being creative is an awesome way to express yourself and let out your feelings.
Yeah.
It's especially hard here in Korea. I mean, I think the culture has gotten really better. But before, 막 눈치 보면서 휴식을 가져야 되잖아요. Like even during like your 근무 시간, like can I go and take a cigarette break, or can I, enjoy like some coffee at my desk? But that's something that a lot of people, back then really found like it was really hard to find. At time of the day to just take that break. 그냥 일해야지, right? So
Stressful.
맞아요.
Very stressful. You mentioned creative activities and you mentioned art. How can art be helpful for this kind of thing?
Creating art can be beneficial to manage psychological difficulties. Next time, I will introduce and explain what art therapy is and misconceptions about art therapy. In 2 weeks, we can try art therapy in the studio with you, our two MCs.
재밌겠다. the art therapy 저 한 번 해봤거든요.
네네.
Have I shared with you?
Yeah, you
I
told us
think
you had to draw a house.
told
and they're like,
us at the first, the first episode.
Yeah, 맞아요. I drew it and they looked at it and go, oh. Oh, okay. And then that's it. That was
so inappropriate. It's so unprofessional. It's like when a doctor looks at your test results and does this. And sucks their teeth and like does.
야, 그렇게 하고 바로 나왔으면 좀 마음 괜찮았을 건데
얘기해줘.
설명했는데
그 정도.
오케이 하고 그냥 가더라고요. 원장님, you won't do that to me, right?
No.
Okay, thank you.
So I think the American style of art therapy and
Yeah.
Korean style of art therapy are
Yeah.
really different.
Yeah.
So I like when I came to Korea and like working as art therapist, and the client asked me, "Oh, can you analyze my artwork?" And then I said I do not do that. So I will explain more detailing
Yeah.
next time. And so that's so I don't do at all.
I'll analyze it for you.
Yeah.
You can trust me, I'm a professional.
Okay.
And I will analyze it. You can draw a house and I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with you.
That's just judging,
Oh.
right?
No, so I'm a professional at judging.
You're a
Sorry, I was
professional judger,
confused.
right?
I
There
was
you
very
go. Then I
confused.
believe it.
Okay.
Looking forward to that. 원장님,
Sure.
thank you so much. That'll do it for today's 마음톡톡, Mind Talk with 우리 오정아 원장님. 원장님 수고했습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you.
감사합니다.
Thank you for having
See you
me.
next
I'll see you
week.
next week.
네.
Bye.
We have 예나님 commenting on our YouTube, also excited about art therapy, saying it's like the thing where you ask a child to draw a tree. Yeah. I think I had to draw a tree and a house.
But I will explain more detail next
yeah.
time.
No
but
spoiler, no spoiler.
That's not the actual art
Yeah.
therapy.
Okay.
So,
Is that a
yeah, yeah.
psychological evaluation?
Yes, yes,
okay.
kind of things.
Then I was psychologically evaluated.
And what was the result? No comment.
No comment.
Just sigh.
Yeah, I think I need to like pay more money to get the evaluation.
Enter your email address here to receive your consultation.
그런 거였어요.
Nightmare.
We have 인류의 충격수님 saying, I'm just wondering what Minsu drew. Must be something unusual and unique. Something about the way I drew the branches of the
Yeah.
tree. 네, 나무를
saw.
그리라고 했는데 그 나무랑 and like the branches of the tree. How I drew it, it looked a little fishy to them for some reason. But I forgot how I drew it. 저 그릴 때마다 그리고 달라요. 네, 그릴 때마다 다르니까.
How you feel. Also, like, what if you're really bad at art? And you're just like, look at this. And they're like, God, what's that?
Maybe they commented on my art
Because
skills.
you're so terrible. It's not your brain that's got issues. It's your
네.
art skill.
그러면 다행이다. That gives me a peace of
I
mind.
don't know if that's really what it is.
원장님 우리 감사합니다. 다음 주에
네,
뵙겠습니다.
감사합니다. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.